So how could the Hobbit's brain be so small? A clue would come from one of the oldest anatomical collections in the world.
The Flores specimen is a very odd fossil, particularly the size of the brain. The size of this brain with this body just wasn't normal. And so maybe you had to begin to think there was something abnormal about this specimen. Maybe it was pathological.
Human biologist Anne McLarnon believes the Hobbit had a disease. In London's Royal College of Surgeons, she has found one particular specimen with a striking resemblance to the Hobbit.
She was probably, we now know, only about 3 years old when she died. She's absolutely minute. The head is tiny and the rest of the body is like a newborn baby.
This person had suffered from a rare condition called microcephaly. It can result in dwarfism, and it has one other classic characteristic.
By definition, microcephaly means small-brained. Individuals may be born with a very small brain, but then after birth also, the brain grows much more slowly than it would in a normal individual, severely retarded in its growth.
Anne wondered whether it was microcephaly that had afflicted the Hobbit. Microcephaly would not only explain the Hobbit's tiny brain, but as it affects the face and jaw, it could also explain the Hobbit's twin-rooted teeth. She realised these deformities could be mistaken for primitive features.
It's possible you could have a specimen that appears to be primitive in evolutionary terms, but is actually abnormal and modern.
Anne was joining the ranks of the skeptics. To prove her theory, she needed more evidence. She would have to find the skull of a microcephalic of similar age to the Hobbit to make a scientific comparison. Hidden away in the museum vaults, she found what she'd been looking for. Although only half the skull remained, here was a chance to test out her theory.
You can tell from the number of tooth sockets this was a fully adult specimen. If this specimen turned out to be roughly the same brain size as the Flores specimen, what it would demonstrate was that the Flores specimen, at least in terms of its brain size, could be an abnormal modern human.
The microcephalic brain case looked remarkably similar in size to the Hobbit's. Anne set about measuring it precisely.
It's a very simple process. You just spoon the pearl barley into the half skull. Gently. You have to be quite careful that you're not packing the pearl barley or putting it too loosely. You must then spoon it into the measuring cylinder in exactly the same way.
The volume of the Hobbit's brain was 400 cubic centimetres, so the half skull had to measure half that. (216 cubic centimetres), a near-perfect match. The microcephalic brain was the same size as the Hobbit brain.
When I learned that this specimen from the Royal College of Surgeons had exactly the same brain size as the Hobbit, I literally let out a whoop of joy because it showed that we really could demonstrate with a specimen that this could explain the Hobbit's small brain.